Yo, yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike. Here to break down Wednesday's 15-game slate. We have 2 games in the early on DraftKings and 13 games on the main. I do believe Chicago... Oh, no, it is on the main. I lied. I thought it was on the early. We have 2 games on the early on both sites and 13 games on the main as well.
Yep, big Wednesday. We haven't had a big Wednesday in a while. So, it's going to be fun. Today was an interesting slate as well. I think a lot of what we talked about last night came true. So I'm excited to get at it again.
Yeah, buddy. Talked about in the lock show today, literally game stacking Milwaukee and Cincinnati. That turned out to be the game stack of the day. So, spot on with that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about last night too. I mean, talked about how those guys give up walks and home runs, and that's pretty much what those two teams do. So, definitely was the stack to have, man, because a bunch of home runs in that game.
Yeah, it worked out. One thing I think that is something that I found doing on DraftKings is, I went 5 deep. I had literally those 2 teams in all 8 of my DraftKings lineups today, and every single lineup had 5 deep of one of the 2 teams, with 3-man stacks of the other and 3-man stacks of St. Louis. The only time I didn't have a 3-man stack was when I had Robinson Chirinos in my lineup, which ended up being 5 out of the 8 lineups. That was my boy. I'm glad he started, and he paid off.
Yeah, solid punt. I think Vasquez was the punt of the day. Dude went off as well. So catcher punt worked out.
You gonna take
both those guys?
You just gonna take Chirinos' shine?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying both those punts worked out. So it just goes to show you catcher punts, man. Real deal.
Also, JT Riddle, I punted him in 100% of my lines today. He was 2K on DraftKings, and he got double-digit points. I punted him on FanDuel, and that was money. That allowed me to get max in half my lines. We were spot on with pitching today as well. We played on the lock show. My top guys were Max Scherzer, Luis Severino. Dan Straley didn't work out great. He didn't have a terrible performance. We were all on Jose Quintana, good performance, and Jeff Hoffman had a decent performance, and I pitched one more guy. Who was it? I'm trying to remember. I only had him in one line. James Paxton had a decent game, but I cashed in 7 of 8 lineups on DraftKings, so profitable night. Worked out.
Yep, once again.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the first time I've been profitable on a Tuesday in a long time, man. I just don't play well on Tuesdays. I don't know what it is, but it worked out today. Again, pitching brought me home, brought me just above cash into half my lineups, pretty much. So I had Severino. I pitched 3 guys: Severino, Newcomb, and Max. So
okay,
it worked out.
All right. Well, we have this 2-game early. Mark Leiter Jr. Makes his second start. He gets Seattle, who's been swinging a relatively hot bat. Obviously got put to bed a little bit tonight against Aaron Nola. Great performance from him. I mentioned I didn't want to stack against him, and showed why tonight. This early slate sucks. It really does for pitching. Maikel Franco and Aaron Altier are on a absolute tear right now. They're the 2 hottest Phillies in the lineup. I do have them. I will be playing Aaron Altier and Maikel Franco against Felix Hernandez, but I'll be pitching Felix Hernandez tomorrow. I think on DraftKings, where you need 2 pitchers, look at Felix Hernandez and Ty Block. I really don't want to pitch Mark Leiter, and I'm not going to play Kyle Freeland.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement with the 2 pitchers that I like of those 2 guys as well. The Philly got a much-needed win after combining for 4 runs in the 3 games prior. They really needed that win today, so solid performance from Nola. We talked about him being sneaky a little bit last night, and he was a top 5 scoring pitcher on DraftKings today. So really solid outing in Seattle for him. But yeah, Franco had himself a game, like you said. So it's gonna be scary pitching anybody on this slate, but on this 2-game slate. But I think Felix and Block are the 2 guys that I gravitate to as well.
Yeah, Colorado's on a 6-7 game losing streak. Giants are still last. Don't get that wrong. Freeland is probably still a good play, but Block has been good at home. I know he's struggled a little bit in the last couple starts, but Colorado's pretty bad right now.
I do think you can play both pitchers in that game, being that they just played a 14-inning game and it's a day game after night game in San Francisco. So it could be a contrarian strategy to play both guys.
That's fair. Looking at attacking Mark Leader, I think your usual suspects: Haniger, Cano, Seager, Mike Zunino. I believe he didn't hit a home run today. Gene Segura did. So your usual suspects.
Yeah. Leiter did go in his first start of this. I think his first major league start. I know he pitched out of the bullpen last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 innings, no runs, 5 Ks in Arizona. No easy feat. Do have to mention, Felix Hernandez obviously only his second start post DL with his shoulder injury, and he was on the DL for like a month, I think. So that is worrisome. He did go out and throw almost 100 pitches in his first start back, so obviously he's feeling it all right, but it is worth noting.
Yeah, Philadelphia's pretty bad, though, against righties. They hold a 138 ISO with a 23% strikeout rate. So.
Yeah, and it's even worse in the last few weeks.
And then, obviously, the second game, we have Ty Blach, Kyle Freeland. Again, Giants are still bad. Freeland is in play, but he's been pretty bad in his last couple starts. He holds a 378 WOBA, only a 10% strikeout rate, so there's not a lot of upside. Not that Ty Blach has been any better, but Ty Blach has been good at home on the season, only posting a 291 WOBA against and a 260 average against. Again, both guys lack strikeout stuff. They're right in that 10 to 13% range, depending on your splits. And I think Colorado's a little colder than San Francisco. It is worth noting that Colorado significantly hits lefties significantly better than righties. So
they do strike out more versus lefties, but like you said, these guys aren't really strikeout artists at all.
Yeah.
Both these pitchers have played these respective teams recently, I think, in like the past week.
Yeah, they played in Colorado. Ty Blach didn't do well.
Yeah, no, they both did like average. It wasn't like terrible, wasn't great.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to get bats from this game, but Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story are 2 guys that I look at versus lefty.
Mm-hmm. And again, they did play. It's like 3 a.m. East Coast time, so this game just went off. So day game after night game, look for some different lineup switch.
True. Chicago, Washington, first game of the main slate. Looking to play Steven Strasburg and attack John Lackey tomorrow. Steven Strasburg has had a rough couple starts. Holds a 318 average against him, a 400 WOBA, and a high home run rate of 2.3 per 9. Not a lot to like about that versus a Cubs team that has some power. But we know what Strasburg is capable of. If you're playing him, you're kind of hoping he rights the ship tomorrow, more so than saying he's a lock.
Yeah, especially top price guy, 11.6 on DK. You want some strikeouts out of this guy, and like you said, last 3 starts versus Cincinnati at New York versus Atlanta, haven't been awful, but they haven't been what you want out of a guy that's the top price pitcher on the slate. For what it's worth, the Cubs have an average and an ISO considerably better than the year average over the last 2 weeks. So maybe they're heating up. But still, I think Strasburg, if you look at this slate as a whole with all these pitchers, he obviously has the stuff to go out and be the guy. We've seen it this year.
Yeah. And then as far as attacking John Lackey, still think you can attack Nationals. Trey Turner went wild today. Nationals as a whole went wild on the base pass. I believe they had 6 or 7 stolen bases. Trey had 4 of them. So that was the play.
7, yep.
7. So that was the play on both sides at shortstop. I sadly played Correa instead when I paid up for shortstop, so that worked well.
I saw Montero on Twitter blamed Arrieta's slow delivery.
No, Montero's allowed 31 of 32 base runners to steal on him this year.
But it's not his fault. No, definitely
not. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I know it's not a popular opinion. Trey Turner is a better base stealer than Billy Hamilton.
Perhaps. I mean, he doesn't have the speed that Hamilton does, so maybe he's got the better read.
I think and to boot, he gets on base more. So as an overall base stealer, I think he's better for the simple standpoint of he gets on base and puts himself in a position to steal more bases.
I mean, second time this year he's had 4 stolen bases in a game, so I can't argue with that.
So I think
Lackey's been bad, man. Yeah. 21 homers allowed this season. The most he's ever allowed in a season is 26, and it is not even July. We've seen velocity dip. His hard contact percentages have gone up. He's got a home run per fly ball of 21 or almost 22%. So when you have a fly ball rate of almost 40 and 22% of them are going over the wall, that's a problem. And this team, I mean, playing well. They have almost 25 home runs in the last 2 weeks. Taylor has like 5 now, I think.
Taylor has 5. Goodwin has 6 in his last 14 weeks. Days.
Yeah. So this team is hitting home runs, and they're facing a guy that likes to give them up. So yeah, definitely a spot to attack.
Your usual suspects, I think, are in play. Turner, Goodwin. I'm still going to fade Harper until he kind of, does a little more than what he's doing because he's not paying off his price right now. Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon, Michael Taylor. So your usual guys. Looking at Tampa, Pittsburgh, Blake Snell makes his return tomorrow. Mike, you like Ivan Nova?
Yeah, I think this price, man, is definitely intriguing. I don't think I'll be alone tomorrow. It's 6,400. If you're looking to pay down, it's a cheap price. Especially we were talking about. There's really not a lot to love in the top tier. Mm-hmm. Reason I like him, I mean, he's only given up 3 homers at home. He's averaging into the 7th inning in all 7 of his home starts. And I think this is a plus matchup for him. I think Tampa coming to Pittsburgh is a plus matchup. So I think it's a solid play at his price.
Okay. I personally can't get behind Nova, just with the sheer fact of he hasn't pitched amazing. He's pitched below average in his last couple starts relative to what he does. Home runs are up a little bit versus a team that does hit home runs. They hit better on the road than at home, which is a little odd. I know this is a pitcher's park, but Logan Morrison, Corey Dickerson, Steven Suney, those guys, parks don't really affect their power. So, still looking there. Obviously, the Rays acquired Adeiny Echeverria today, or Denny, however you want to say it. So.
Yep, and they're moving Tim Beckham to second base, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Robertson will make his way out of the lineup.
I mean, I'm just for argument purposes. I mean, other than his last start in Milwaukee, he has 5 straight quality starts. So I don't see him. Again, he doesn't really have the strikeout upside, but he's shown that he can play well and be a serviceable guy. I mean,
I just don't think Tampa's
averaging almost 20.
I just don't think Tampa's the team I want to pitch against. The fact that Tampa's a stack option for me regularly worries me about pitching against them.
That's fair. I just don't. This guy's a heavy ground ball guy in a pitcher's park. I think it's the reason we like Tampa is because they hit bombs. Mm-hmm. They make for good DFS stacks, and he has shown that he's not really giving them up at home. So I don't know. I think this is a good matchup.
I see both sides of it. I just I don't know that I'll be joining you on that journey tomorrow.
If Nova was 8,400, I wouldn't even be looking at him.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't know I don't know if right now I'm on that train with you. Maybe when I wake up in the morning, I'll have an epiphany and I'll change my mind. But
okay. And then Blake Snell, he got demoted and made 7 starts in Durham and was 7-0.
I still think Blake Snell's a legit prospect. I still love his stuff. If he can figure out his walks, the dude is going to be a great pitcher. He has elite K potential. So,
I mean, they sent him down for that exact purpose. They wanted to get his fastball command under control, so that he can set up his out pitches, and that's what he did in the minors. So they bring him back up. They're bumping Erasmo out, and they're giving him a go. So we'll see what happens.
I think he's worthy of a GPP start, and it's not going to be a popular opinion here either. But I think Snell at 6K on DraftKings is a higher upside play than Nova at 6,400. Obviously, probably a little more risky, but Pittsburgh does strike out over 20% of the time versus lefties, and I would argue that Snell's K upside is much higher than Nova's. So
it is, definitely. I mean, I don't see him pitching deep into games, but it definitely is higher upside. I think no one's really going to be on him. I think people will be on Nova, so I think from an ownership and a K upside, it could be definitely a GPP option.
Baltimore, Toronto. Real quick, obviously Wade Miley. It's going to be an interesting play. Toronto does struggle versus lefties a little bit. They hold ISO about 15 points lower. They strike out a little more. Wade Miley's been below average in his last couple starts. He holds a 4.19 WOBA against him with a home run rate of 2/9. So there's not a lot to like, but Toronto hasn't exactly blown up lefties on a consistent basis. So I don't know that Toronto's the stack tomorrow yet. I'm going to be interested to see where it goes, but Wade Miley doesn't scream as the top guy to attack to me. And then Stroman, I still think you can look at him. Toronto holds a high K percentage on the road, almost 25%, and they do struggle. Well, actually, no, they hit righties better than lefties, but Stroman's an elite ground ball pitcher. I don't know. I would rather, I know it's not price dependent, but I would rather play Stroman over Nova against Baltimore than Tampa. Prices are comparable.
If they're the same,
prices are
same
comparable.
price,
I know.
yeah.
I'm just talking skill set. I think Stroman's capable.
He's just way overpriced on DraftKings to consider playing him. I mean, the dude does not strike people out.
He's got a 20% K rate versus a team that strikes out 25% of the time.
I mean, in his last 4 starts versus Baltimore, his high in strikeouts is 4. And, yeah, he does have a ground ball rate. He's got like a 2.5 ground ball to fly ball ratio this season. That's what he does, man. I don't think he has really overpowering stuff to pay off a 9K price tag. I mean, there's a bunch of guys up here that I really don't. I think they just priced them up just because there really wasn't many solid pitching options like there was today. Like the 2 aces on this slate, Strasburg and Darvish, get tough matchups. So they price guys up to try and get people to be comparable. I mean, Stroman recently hasn't been awesome. I mean, hasn't been great, hasn't been bad.
Mm-mm.
It's just a lot of money for Stroman, I think. So, but maybe that's what you're looking for tomorrow. Maybe you're looking for somebody that can pitch deep into games and have some K potential.
Looking at Ian Kennedy and Daniel Norris in this Kansas City-Detroit game, I think both guys are attackable. I would rather attack Ian Kennedy, but he's actually been decent-ish in his last couple starts. He does have a high fly ball rate, but only a 180 average against him. But the hard contact rate is kind of what finalized that. So his 42% hard contact rate versus what we know Detroit does, obviously versus right-handed pitching. It's not close. Their hard contact. They have 2 guys below 40% in this lineup tomorrow, if this is the lineup they throw out there. So a lot of hard contact means a lot of potential for hits. And I just think that Detroit's righties can get to, and Avila, their righties and Avila can get to Kennedy no problem. They've seen him plenty of times as well.
Yeah, they got to him. They roughed him up for 5 earned runs in 3 innings. Got him early hook, I think, in that last start. But yeah, they got the trifecta going with hard contact and fly ball leading to home runs. Giving up a home run in every start this season. Double-digit walks in 8 out of 10. We talked about that last night with this Milwaukee-Cincinnati game. Double-digit walks and home run in every start generally leads to good spot to attack. Mm-hmm. Kennedy, has an ERA almost at 5 with a FIP that's almost a run more than that, so suggesting that this is probably a sustainable bad season if he continues to pitch the way he does. And again, like you said, Detroit hits the ball hard. He gives up hard contact. I think it's a good spot, man. I do.
Looking at Milwaukee Cincy, I don't think this is the game stack tomorrow. Spoiler alert. I actually really like Luis Castillo. He's one of the Reds' top prospects. It's not exactly the best park to pitch in, but I do think he holds some K potential. We're talking about a team that strikes out a ton in the Brewers, so I don't think I pitch him, but I don't think I stack against him. However, he is mad cheap and does make for an interesting GPP play at 5,400.
Super duper cheap, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think here. I mean, Castillo did have a good first start. I mean, good major league debut. Came up from Double-A. They gave him the call. They gave him Mike Wazowski's spot. Mm-hmm. And gave up 2 solo shots, and that was really the only damage he gave up. I didn't watch him play, so I don't really know exactly what his stuff consists of. But he was a starter, all this season in the minors, 14 starts in the minors, and was striking people out. So obviously they liked him enough to give him the start and give him a second start. So against Milwaukee, they do strike out a ton, but they can bruise you.
Absolutely. It's a GPP play through and through. And then I don't know that I necessarily attack Chase Anderson. He's been pretty good. I know this isn't exactly the best park I don't think I pitch him, but I don't think he screams stack against him. Might give up a run or 2, maybe even 3, but that doesn't scream stack to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chase Anderson could be a surprising pitcher tomorrow. I don't know that he makes my top 5 really, but 6 straight quality starts. He's flashed some serious K upside this season. That's kind of been different. Almost got a K per 9 of almost 9 against some good teams as well. So I don't know if I'm buying it. I think all of the advanced metrics say that it is sustainable for him, but it's crazy to think, man. And I think this Cincinnati team is above average in almost every category offensively. So in this ballpark, I'm not sure that I really want to pay up for Chase Anderson tomorrow.
I'm with you. I love attacking Rick Porcello tomorrow. The Twins are actually my second favorite stack on the slate right now. They hold a high ISO against right-handed pitching. They do strike out a little more, which Rick Porcello has upped his K percentage this year, but in his last 3 starts, it's not been great. He holds an extremely high hard contact rate of almost 43% on the season, over 45% in his last 3 starts. Fly ball rates right there with it at 40%. This Minnesota team does a really good job of getting the ball in the air, and you have some guys with elite hard contact rates. So I really like Minnesota in this spot tomorrow. I think that they can put up some runs against Rick Porcello.
Home runs is like Rick Porcello's middle name. We've seen a lot of pitchers that have been established in the past. I mean, we just talked about John Lackey. We talked about numerous guys that have just been starting to give up home runs. He's given up 16 this season. So and that's really been the damage, man. He's not allowing that many base runners. He doesn't walk a ton. Like you say, he does strike out a good bit, but these people are coming around to score with these home runs, and it's been killing him. I will say that Minnesota is one of his only bright starts this season came in Minnesota. He had a 26-point DraftKings performance. Mm-hmm. He struck out 6, only gave up 1 run on a solo shot, went 7 innings in that game. And if you look at his last 4 home starts, he hasn't given up a home run in any of them. So
it's fair.
Maybe that's a trend worth considering. But still, like I said, this guy's been pretty bad.
Boston's going to be another chalky stack tomorrow. Fuck them. I'm not doing it again. They burned me tonight with Chris Young hitting that stupid-ass home run. Dropped me in some cash. I still cash, like I said, but dropped me where I could have been. They're not a home run hitting team. I'm going to fade them again tomorrow. Not going to play them as chalk. So. And rant.
It sounds like a serious bias, man. I mean, he is not a good pitcher. I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he's had some solid performances. I don't know that I want to rush to stack Boston because, like you said, they don't really hit home runs. But he has given up double-digit home runs in 5 out of his 10 starts this season. I definitely like to target bad lefties in Fenway Park, something that I've done for a while. So I don't see me running away from a stack here, but
I refuse to stack them. I will play Jackie Bradley Jr. as a one-off. I will play Mookie Betts as a one-off, maybe a 2-man stack here. I refuse to go more than 2 deep on Boston tomorrow.
That's fair.
They're a station-to-station team. They don't hit home runs. I don't see stack upside in them. If they're not hitting the home runs, they're not going to be the top stack.
No, I mean, that's exactly right. That's what they do. They go station to station. And unless you're 4 deep on exactly who's going to get people in, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's tough to go.
So, Texas Cleveland, we have Darvish and Trevor Bauer tomorrow. Trevor Bauer has actually pitched really well over his last couple starts. Clevenger kind of put Texas to sleep today, minus the Robinson Chirinos home run. Trevor Bauer have similar success. We know Darvish, he's been pitching elite in his last couple starts. Almost a 30% K rate, a 169 average against him. I think you see minimal offense in this game tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it going both ways. I mean, Bauer's been very up and down this season. Kind of like a lot of these Cleveland pitchers. I mean, Salazar is the same way. Tomlin's had okay, but I'm going to call him up and down. He's been pretty bad.
No, he's not.
But good. Yeah, Bauer's been up and down. I could see him going out and being the price pivot off of Nova, 6,200. Texas has double-digit strikeouts in 33 games this season.
Yeah, they're striking out a ton.
The Texas record as a team is 43 double-digit strikeout games, so they might break that record before the All-Star game. They're striking out a ton. I think it makes for an interesting play. A guy that has flashed some K upside, and if he has his stuff going,
I'm with you. So I think both pitchers are in good upside spots, but can also get blown up. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Same with Darvish. I mean, Darvish is coming off one of his best starts. Worth noting, he did leave that Yankee game in the 8th inning with tricep tightness. Didn't go to the DL at all. He worked through it, and he's making his next start. So I don't think it's that much of a concern for me. But, I mean, coming off arguably his best start of the season in Yankee Stadium, it's definitely worth riding, I think.
Tanaka has pitched really well in his last couple starts. He holds a strikeout rate of 35%. And Chicago can strike out. They strike out quite a bit versus righties. So I like Tanaka tomorrow, dependent on one thing. And that's if Austin Romine catches him. There is definitely a thing with him catching Yankee pitching.
I'm not going to get in that argument. I think Tanaka's can do what he wants. be honest with you. I mean, he doesn't even speak English. But, I think since he's made... Signs. Just saying, man. I really don't think it matters. But that's just my personal opinion. He made significant mechanical adjustments before the Angels start, which was 3 starts ago. He's had at least 8 strikeouts in those last 3 starts. He's coming off, again, arguably one of his best games versus Texas. Yep. He went 8 innings, only gave up 3 hits, struck out 9, and I just don't see, the way he looked in that game, I just don't see him coming to Chicago and being bad. You know what I mean? It just... He was changing the levels. He had his four-seamer up and his splitter working. So I just don't see him coming to this game being bad. I mean, we just saw Severino career high in strikeouts today.
I'm with you. No, I think it's a GPP play for the upside alone. So
yeah, I don't think people are going to be all over Tanaka, man. I think people love to rag on him. So
he's been pretty ass. So.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I like that people are not going to be on him, so
I'm with you.
I'm into it.
And then Carlos Rodon makes his first start in the majors this year. He is going to be on a pitch count, and he hasn't pitched well in his rehab starts. So Chicago's kind of hoping that it's just rust, and they think that he'll kind of brush it off as he gets back into the groove of things. But obviously it's going to be on a pitch count. I see very, very little upside in playing him tomorrow for the sheer fact that he's on a pitch count and he hasn't looked good. So I don't think I do it because even if he is pitching well, he probably doesn't go past the 4th inning.
Yeah. No, I definitely think he's going to be on a pitch count, like you said.
It's confirmed.
It is confirmed? Yeah, okay. So that limits his upside, obviously. I'm definitely going to be watching him, though, because this is a guy 5,600 who has the potential to be a top 5 price pitcher in the next 3 starts,
Oh, he's got...
in price?
He's got
legit upside.
Yeah, he's got
legit
K stuff. It's just the
if he looks good on his pitch count tomorrow against the Yankee team that does struggle against lefties, and this team is half AAA roster right now, so if he does look kind of good in the start, I think this next start could be a chance to buy low on him, for sure. So, Rodon, 4 minor league starts this season, he has an ERA of over 10.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just not been good.
Yeah. So, looking at Oakland, Houston, real quick. Not looking to play or attack either one of these guys. Oakland, besides that grand slam they hit today. No, they did hit. They actually had a couple more runs in the late innings. They didn't play bad today. Mike Fiers was actually pitching amazing up until he loaded the bases, and his stat line looks a lot worse than how he pitched because of those 3 earned runs that he got charged to him when he left the bases loaded. But he actually had a really good game up until that point. So, continued to look nice today. David Paulino, nothing special about him. I don't think I really want to play him, but I don't want to attack him just because of the sheer fact that Oakland is very GPP-ish. And then Houston attacking Jesse Hahn, I don't think is the best idea in the world. Dude's not really... he hasn't been good in his last 3 starts, or in his last couple starts since coming back off the DL. He's given up a little bit of a hard contact rate, or he's given up a hard contact rate of 40%, so it's not good. Houston does hit righties really, really well, but I don't know if they're the spot to stack deep tomorrow. Maybe a one-off or 2.
Yeah, I think Hahn's numbers versus righties limit what I want to do as far as trying to find home runs off of paying up to these righties on Houston. Doesn't seem like he's giving it. It's a safe bet to get multiple home runs off these righties, especially at their prices. It doesn't really stick out to me. And then Paulino is coming off a pretty good start in Oakland, one of his better starts this season. So I don't know, maybe he builds on that and has even a better start. I don't think I want to put my money there, but I just really don't want to stack against him.
Yeah, I'm with you. Adam Wainwright, Zach Godley. Zach Godley's pitched actually really, really well this year. As a whole, he's pitched pretty even better in his last 3 starts, and he's been, oddly enough, really good at home. He holds a 129 average against him at home this year with a 212 WOBA, 24% strikeout rate, only a 17% fly ball rate at home this year. Talk about limiting fly balls in a bandbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 8,800 is I don't know. I guess that's pretty fair for him.
I'm not playing him against St. Louis, who does do well versus righties, and on the road, it's not a good. I don't think it's the best matchup for Godley, but I don't think I stack St. Louis either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I question the quality of his opponents. I know he has played against Colorado once and Detroit once, but then you look at the rest of these teams, and it's a lot of Philly, San Diego, Milwaukee. So
I agree. And then Wainwright, I know you're looking to attack him tomorrow.
Yeah, for the simple fact that he's gotten blown up bad in his last 2 road starts. Like real bad. Like, I think he got pulled in the 2nd inning in Baltimore in his last road start. And now he goes to Arizona. I mean, I don't view him as this guy that's going to have, like, going to be, like, reeling. Oh, man. I think he knows what he's doing. So,
yeah.
Definitely not like a... This is my favorite stack, but I definitely don't want to play him because of it, and I think you could definitely look at paying up to some of these lefties.
I'm with you. LA, Los Angeles. I actually really like Alex Meyer tomorrow. He's pitched well in his last couple starts. He has a high strikeout rate. He's not walking a ton of guys. He's limiting fly balls against him. I think Dodgers will remain chalky tomorrow, which I'm okay with. I like Alex Meyer's spot for a GPP option. He's only 5,900 on DraftKings. So I'm going to go there in a GPP.
I just think it's really risky. I don't know, man. I see what you're saying. Obviously, he's got a high 90s fastball. He throws fastball, curveball. So he can strike people out, but we've also seen that he can get hit. So the Dodgers are a team that scares me. I don't think it's the spot I want to play Meyer. I have played Meyer this season for the K upside. I mean, but I just don't think it's my favorite spot for him, man, on this slate.
I can see it.
I think I'd rather go elsewhere if I'm paying down.
He's gonna get mad low owned, so I'm cool with it.
Oh yeah. Him and Snell, I think, are 2 guys that you're thinking that I definitely don't think people are going to be on, that they do possess some strikeout stuff.
And then finally, Atlanta, San Diego, we have Luis Perdomo and Bartolo Colon making his return. I think you can stack.
Once again,
you can stack against Bartolo Colon. I don't think he's gotten any better. So fire up a San Diego stack tomorrow.
Have they played each other this year? Has Bartolo played San Diego? I feel like they have.
I don't believe so, but I could be wrong.
I feel like they have. Yeah, actually. 1 start, he only gave up 1 hit, which was a home run in 7 innings.
Yeah, but this San Diego team's completely different.
San Diego team is completely different.
Than what he faced?
What do you mean?
Perella, Cordero, Spangenberg's playing now.
Yeah, that's true. It is a totally different lineup. I definitely want to go after Colon every time he plays, so I will have some San Diego bats, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I don't want to attack Perdomo. He does struggle a little bit with lefties, so maybe Matt Adams, but other than that, I don't see much upside in attacking Perdomo with the elite ground ball rate in this park.
Exactly. Ground ball rate in this park. I mean, we have seen him get blown up, but it's not something I would want to bet on.
Agree. So, to recap, kind of where we're at. Early slate, guy to pay for, in our opinion, is Felix. Main slate, looking at Strauss as a GPP option. I like Alex Meyer. I like Marcus Stroman. We both agree on Yu Darvish. Mike likes Ivan Nova and Masahiro Tanaka. I can get on board with Tanaka. And then the guys we're attacking are John Lackey. I like Rick Porcello. We're going to attack Bartolo Colon, Ian Kennedy, and Adam Wainwright.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's about. I mean, from like a slate theory perspective, like then you look at the pricing of these pitchers tomorrow. I really think that the people are gonna have the money to pay up, especially on DraftKings. At least looking at the pricing on DraftKings, people have the money to pay up for their bats tomorrow. So you're gonna have to really see which high price hitters are in good spots, and make a decision whether to lock or fade those guys. More so than you usually do on a 13-game slate. I also think Strasburg and Darvish are going. I think there's going to be a lot of spread out ownership on the pitchers 8K and above. So, just going to be a different slate tomorrow. I don't think there's one like we had Max today. I think the day before that we had.
Sale.
I don't know, Sale, exactly. There's really no one that you can see getting the majority of ownership as far as a paying up option. So, different strategy tomorrow. Definitely gotta play into it.
I'm with it. So, all right, guys, we'll make it a profitable Wednesday. We'll be back doing a Main Slate lock show. I'm getting you guys prepared for that 13-game slate. So, have a wonderful night or morning, depending on when you're listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yep, thanks for joining once again, guys. See you tomorrow.